Welcome to Thrak Attack. What's your adventure? Do you enjoy movies? Do you enjoy reading books? Do you enjoy playing video games? Do you enjoy listening to music? Do you like to travel? All of these adventures we review. I do at least one thing per week and review it and let you guys know what I thought. So if you want to check it out, you know what to look forward to. And if you don't want to check it out, then you know what you're missing out on. Or if you're missing out on anything at all. This week, our first video episode, the blog has been going on for a while now. We have Mary Poppins Returns, the movie. We have The Fork, the Witch, and the Worm by Christopher Paolini. And we also are reviewing a few songs released by Bare Hands. But before we get into the reviews, let's do a little bit of the news for the week. The first bit of news is Stranger Things is getting a comic series. I believe it's already had a comic series for the first two sections of the show, but season 3 is coming out and they are releasing a comic book series for that. Hopefully we'll get some clues on what is next to come for Stranger Things. Next, there's a new song by Axl Rose which is debuted on a music video featuring the Looney Tunes, and I gotta say, it's pretty good. I really enjoyed watching the video, and I actually really enjoyed the song too. I've always been a fan of Guns N' Roses, so it's really cool to see that he's going on and doing his own thing now. Carmen Sandiego is getting her own reboot for Netflix. Netflix likes to reboot things. That's about, yeah, they like to reboot things. And final bit of news, Aquaman has finally passed Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Thor Ragnarok, and Venom at the box office, which is pretty impressive. The first review is for Mary Poppins Returns. This film I was a little skeptical of because I usually don't like the live-action Disney remakes, but this one is not a remake. It's a continuation of the story, which I do appreciate. The Jungle Book that came out a few years ago was fine, but I've already seen that movie. There did add some elements of it that were different, but this one has a completely new story. It's just a continuation of the story. It's set 25 years after the original film, where Jane and Michael Banks have all grown up, and now they are dealing with their adult issues, and Mary Poppins is back to save the day. The costuming is great. The set design is great. It's very colorful. It's very bright. The music, at first I didn't really like. The more I listened to it, the more I really appreciate it. A couple of the standouts are A Cover Is Not the Book. The scene in one of the magical places that Mary Poppins brings the children is fantastic. A Conversation with Michael Banks is phenomenal and very moving at the very beginning of the film. And finally, the first big musical scene with Mary Poppins. Can you imagine that? I didn't like it first, but now I'm really coming around to it. The thing I really enjoyed about Mary Poppins Returns is it brings the magic back into Disney movies. The past few Disney movies in the past year have not been very magical. They've been more action-heavy, like all the Marvel movies and Star Wars movies. And even Wreck-It Ralph, the previous animated feature, was all about technology. It didn't really have any magic to it. I reviewed that on my blog a couple weeks ago. If you guys want to go watch that, it just feels like this is the first movie in a while that has some magic to it. Christopher Robin had some magic to it, but it didn't feel the same as magical as Mary Poppins has always been. So please check out Mary Poppins Returns. It's a really fun movie, and it's just really magical, and it brings the magic back into the movies, which we have lost for a little while. On Thrak Attack, I review a movie Is it going on my ultimate shelf? Is it going on the shelf that I have all of my content, my books, my movies, my music, my video games, and I believe that Mary Poppins Returns is going on the shelf right next to the original. The second review is of the book The Fork, the Witch, and the Worm, which I have right here. It's a 3-part anthology story set in the world of Allegazia, where the inheritance cycle takes place. Aragon, eldest, Brizinger, inheritance. It's a really good book series. If you have not read it, please do. It's great. It's a new world to explore, and it's really well crafted world. This book is a continuation of the story and 3 short stories that really develop the lore of the world and continue on the story that we last left off on. The main character, Eragon, is now becoming the new Dragon Rider leader, and he's trying to rebuild the world of the Dragon Riders in Alagasia. The first section of the story is called The Fork, which follows Eragon and his struggles to become the leader of the Dragon Riders and rebuild that society. And it's really great to see him as a leadership role, but also struggling to be a leadership role. When I read these books, I was a teenager just like Eragon was, and now I'm a young adult, and I'm struggling to be an adult just like Eragon is struggling to be an adult. It's a great continuation story. It's exactly what Harry Potter did. It's exactly what Toy Story did, of following their audience through their lives. It also gets into another character, which is my favorite character in the book series, but I won't want to spoil it for you. The second section is The Witch, which is a conversation between Eragon and Angela, the herbalist, and it's a really cool thing because Christopher Paolini's sister wrote the parts and the letter that Angela gives to Eragon, so it's in her writing style and not Christopher Paolini's writing style, which is really cool. And also, there's a little blurb in the book that says that Angela was based on his sister Angela, which is really awesome that she gets to write her own part. And the last part is the first story that was written for this series, and it really, really fleshes out the world. It's the Dragon Hearts, or the Eldenari, give Eragon a vision of some of the ancient dragons and how they fared in this world. And it was a really cool story that gave a little backstory to the area that they're in now, and it gives Eragon a new perspective, and it ends with a great callback to the first story where Eragon is struggling and was worried about himself becoming the leader that he is destined to be. And it's just a really great ending to the book. This book also leaves it open for more anthology books down the line. This is part 1, which is Eragon's story, and I'm hoping we get to more stories like this. Like a couple of short stories with Roran, or a couple of short stories with Murta. Just seeing what other characters in this world are doing. It would be really fun to see that and continue exploring this great world that Christopher Paolini has written. Finally, I'm going to talk about Bare Hands. They're a newer band that has come out in the past couple years, and they have some really good songs. They just put out a couple singles on Apple Music and Spotify, which are really interesting. I don't love them. The main single is Ignoring the Truth, and I'm just not a fan of that one. Then there's Backseat Driver, which is fine. And they also added in their biggest hit, 2 a.m., which you might have heard of, but not really. But if you haven't, really check that one out. That's a good one. My favorite is the first single on the list, which is called Blue Lips, and it's featuring Ursula Rose. Let's listen to a little bit. Let's get a feel for it. I really like the groove in that, and also Ursula Rose's part that comes up later is really fun, and it just adds another element to their music. They're a great band. I would really check them out, and I would don't skip out on this one. It's okay. Half of the I don't like it, the second 2 songs, but Blue Lips and 2 a.m. are great, so really check it out. It's a great way to get into the new year. Hey, thanks for watching Thrak Attack. This is our first video, as you can see, so we're just working out the kinks. Thank you for watching and enjoying, and I hope you guys read these things or watch these things and go on these adventures. Every week there'll be new adventures. There's going to be I'm going on a hike on South Mountain that I'm going to review and talk about. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. That's a mouthful. For the Switch is coming out. I'll be reviewing that video game, and also we'll be reviewing Aquaman. It's It's from 2018, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. So that's what we're doing next week. If you guys like the videos and want to check out the blog, please do so, thracattack.org. We will also be setting up a podcast in the future. We're also on Facebook and Instagram if you want to check out those. And we'll have pictures from our travels and reviews and just reminders of when new things are coming out. Thank you for watching. Keep going on adventures.